Good morning. So, today the topic of our discussion is inventory control. Now, we shall start with what is a inventory and its significance, its role. Basically, inventory is a stock of items that is kept on hand used to meet customer demand. So, when we talk of stock of items, then it includes raw materials, semi finished goods and finished goods. These are maintained for the future demand, okay, that will meet the anticipated demand. And sometimes, not sometimes, but many times, because we are operating under the situation of some uncertainty and some risk, that is why we always keep some safety stocks on hand, better known as buffer stocks, so that our production remains uninterrupted. Production ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵਿਘਨ ਨਾ ਪਵੇ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ additional stocks are maintained for seasonal or cyclic demand. At the same time, we may also go for bulk buying, excessive buying in order to avail discounts. Sometime ordinarily we may require, let us say, 100 units, but sometime there may be an offer that if you will buy 200 units, you will get 20% discount or 15% discount. Under such situations, though our requirement in the future anticipated time may be 100 units, but we may go for buying in excess maybe 200 units so as to avail those discounts. Because our overall objective is either cost minimization in production or profit maximization, and profit maximization also directly depends upon cost minimization, and inventory plays an important role in our cost as well. Okay. So, lot of cost is incurred in terms of buying inventory and at the same time in terms of maintaining inventory. Okay. Now, another important thing is that why at all we need inventory. Inventory basically exists to meet the demand of customers, that is future oriented, it is a future demand. And these customers can be both external as well as internal. Okay. External means who are buying our finished product, and at the same time our internal customers are the production department people, workers there who are using that material. That is why accurate forecast of demand is very important. Okay. Though we cannot have 100% accurate forecast, but we shall take steps to go for at least reasonably accurate forecasts. Another important thing is that items that are used internally to produce a final product are called dependent demand items, and the items that are final products which go outside the organization and these are demanded by the external customers are known as independent demand items. So, this is how we categorize incoming material and outgoing material. Now, why do we need to control inventory? Because lot of costs are involved in buying and maintaining inventory, as we have discussed earlier. Now, for instance, if we keep inventory, that means stock in excess, then lot of costs are involved in terms of keeping the inventory or holding the inventory in storage. At the same time, if we face deficit in inventory, ਜੇ ਮੰਨ ਲਓ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਘਾਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਵੇ, then there will be the interruption in our production. In that case, the cost that is incurred is shortage cost. We may be imposed penalties by the customers, we may lose customers in the long run ਜਿਸ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ order ਨਹੀਂ process ਕਰਕੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ. So not only under the terms of the contract those people may impose penalties, and at the same time we will lose these customers in the long run. So that is why either we cannot have shortage in inventory, at the same time we cannot have abundant inventory so that our holding cost, carrying cost shall go very high. So that is why we need to control inventory. On one side, our storage cost shall be as minimum as possible, and at the same time we shall have sufficient stocks so that we need not to face any deficit in inventory and our production shall not come to halt. So that is why we need to understand, we need to apply some techniques that what shall be our optimum inventory size, so that our overall cost remains the least, as minimum as possible. That is why it is said that inventory is a necessary evil. It is necessary on one side, otherwise we may face penalties, we may lose customers in case of shortages, and on the other side it is an evil because we have to keep excessive stocks in anticipation of some unforeseen reasons or in anticipation of the future demand, and that is why we need to incur extra cost for holding inventories. So on this basis we say that inventory is a necessary evil. Now let us first understand what are the different types of inventory costs, what are the costs involved. Broadly there are three types of costs, starting with the first type, that is carrying cost. Some authors write it as holding cost. In some of the books you may note it as holding cost. Carrying cost or holding cost means cost of holding items in storage. Okay. Now this cost vary with the level of inventory and sometimes with the length of time held. Okay. If we hold these items for a longer period, then carrying cost will be high. At the same time, if we are holding much of the inventory again, the carrying cost will be high. Carrying cost can include the cost of losing the use of funds tied up in inventory. ਉਸੇ ਫੰਡ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਲੌਕ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਇਨਵੈਂਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਸਟੋਰੇਜ ਕਾਸਟ ਆ ਗਈ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਰੈਂਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਹੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਕੂਲਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਟੈਂਪਰੇਚਰ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਰੱਖਣੀਆਂ, ਹਿਊਮਿਡਿਟੀ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨਸ ਰੱਖਣੀਆਂ, ਲਾਈਟਿੰਗ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ, ਰੈਫਰੀਜਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਰਿਕਾਰਡ ਕੀਪਿੰਗ ਹੈ, ਸਿਕਿਉਰਿਟੀ ਹੈ. ਪਰਚੇਜ਼ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਨਵੈਂਟਰੀ ਲਈ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੋਨ ਲੈਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਲੋਨਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵਿਆਜ ਦੇਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਕੈਰਿੰਗ ਕਾਸਟ ਆ ਗਈ. ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਪਏ ਪਏ ਡੈਪਰੀਸ਼ੀਏਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਆਬਸੋਲੀਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਐਕਸਪਾਇਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਡਿਟੀਰੀਓਰੇਟ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਪਿਲਫਰੇਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਬ੍ਰੇਕੇਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸਪੋਇਲੇਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. ਸੋ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਕਾਸਟ ਹੈ, ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਕੈਰਿੰਗ ਕਾਸਟ. So carrying cost is normally expressed as a per unit rupee amount on an annual basis, or it is expressed as a percentage of the value of an item or as the percentage of average inventory value. ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਟਾਈਮ ਪੀਰੀਅਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਵਰੇਜ ਇਨਵੈਂਟਰੀ ਕੀ ਸੀ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੱਖ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਜਾਂ ਆਈਟਮ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਹੈ, ਜੇ ਮੰਨ ਲਓ 10 ਰੁਪਏ ਉਹਦੀ ਵੈਲਿਊ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਜੀ 10% ਉਹਦੀ ਕੈਰਿੰਗ ਕਾਸਟ ਹੈ, ਮੰਨ ਲਓ 1 ਰੁਪਏ ਉਹਦੀ ਕੈਰਿੰਗ ਕਾਸਟ ਰੱਖ ਲਈ. ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੀ ਅਪੋਰਸ਼ਨਮੈਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਕੈਰਿੰਗ ਕਾਸਟ ਦੀ ਅਪੋਰਸ਼ਨਮੈਂਟ. ਓਕੇ. Second is ordering cost. Now this cost is associated with the replenishment of the stock of inventory being held. ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਦਾ ਸਟਾਕ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਜਾਂ ਆਰਡਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਕਾਸਟ ਹੈ. सो रूपी अमाउंट दे विच आ गई पर डॉलर या डॉलर अमाउंट दे विच आ गई एट इंटरनेशनल लैवल। इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ द ऑर्डर साइज़, जिहड़ी पिछली इन्वेंटरी सी कैरिंग कॉस्ट, जिहड़ी असी कैरिंग कॉस्ट देखी है, पिछली कॉस्ट जिहड़ी देखी है वो वेरी करती सी विद द साइज़ ऑफ द ऑर्डर, कि किन्नी इन्वेंटरी असी स्टॉक च रखनी है या किन्ने समय लई रखनी है। ये ऑर्डर साइज़ तो इंडिपेंडेंट है, चाहे असी 50 यूनिट्स का ऑर्डर दईए, चाहे 1000 का दईए, चाहे 10,000 का दईए। ये हैगी कॉस्ट इनवॉल्वड इन गिविंग एन ऑर्डर, ठीक है। दैट्स वाई इट इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ ऑर्डर साइज। सो जनरली रिएक्ट इनवर्सली टू कैरिंग कॉस्ट, ओके। क्योंकि मान लो साडी एनुअल डिमांड 1000 यूनिट है, 1000 यूनिट जे साडी एनुअल डिमांड है, तो जे असी साल दे विच 10 वारी ऑर्डर देवांगे तो 10 वारी ऑर्डरिंग कॉस्ट लगूगी, तो जे असी साल च एक वारी देवांगे तो एक वारी लगूगी, ओके। सो जिन्ना ऑर्डर साइज ज़्यादा होगा उस हिसाब नाल कैरिंग कॉस्ट वधूगी, पर जिहड़ी ऑर्डरिंग कॉस्ट है वो घटूगी। सो दिस इंक्लूड रिक्विजिशन कॉस्ट, परचेज ऑर्डर्स, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एंड शिपिंग, रिसीविंग, इंस्पैक्शन, हैंडलिंग, प्लेसिंग इन स्टोरेज, अकाउंटिंग एंड ऑडिटिंग। सो जिहड़ा तुहाडा स्टाफ है या तुसीं हर वारी ड्यूटी करदे हो अकाउंटिंग दी या ऑडिटिंग दी या ऑर्डर देण दी, in that view whether your order size is 100 units or 1000 units or 10,000 units, that is going to remain same. Important thing is that in view of your annual demand, if your order size is low, then you will have to give more number of orders during the period, say 1 year. जिस तरह 1000 यूनिट साडी एनुअल रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो जे साडा ऑर्डर साइज 100 दा, then we will have to give order 10 times in a year. जे साडा ऑर्डर साइज 500 यूनिट दा, then we will have to give order only twice a year. So accordingly our ordering cost, total ordering cost will diminish. Third type of costs are shortage cost or stock out costs. Now this occurs when customer demand cannot be met because of insufficient inventory on hand. This includes loss of profits. Shortages can also cause customer dissatisfaction. There is a loss of goodwill and there can be a loss of permanent loss of customers and future sales. ठीक है, कस्टमर अनाए हो गए कि असी उन्होंने ऑर्डर टाइम ते नहीं दिता, अगली बार तो उन्होंने साडे नाल बिजनेस बंद करता, या की होया कि जिन्ना असी प्राइस कोट कीता सी उन्ना प्राइस उन्होंने पे नहीं किया, उहदे विच उन्होंने कोई पेनल्टी चार्ज करके सानू घट प्राइस दिता। सो जो सानू घट प्राइस दिता, इन दैट केस आवर प्रॉफिट्स हैव डिमिनिश्ड, ओके। सो जो साडे प्रॉफिट्स दे उत्ते कट लग्या, दैट विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज शॉर्टेज कॉस्ट और स्टॉक आउट कॉस्ट। सो दीज आर द broad 3 types of costs that are involved. So whenever we have to decide upon the optimum order size, that what shall we give, what shall be the optimum order size, in that view we have to keep in mind that our total cost, that is comprising of all such type of costs, shall be the least as minimum as possible. Now this is our issue, okay. So now there are different inventory control techniques or inventory management techniques that we can employ under different situations, okay, so as to meet this objective. So before proceeding to that, so the issue before us is that one issue is that how much we shall order and when to order. And there are two types of systems. One is continuous or fixed order quantity, in which constant amount is ordered when inventory declines to a predetermined level, okay. जिस तरह मान लो continuous ये है कि एक level ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ देखा कि ਜਦੋਂ 50 यूनिट रह गए उदों असी 200 यूनिट का ऑर्डर करना, ठीक है। सो उत्थे टाइम फ्रेम नहीं है, उत्थे सिर्फ ऑर्डर है, सॉरी क्वांटिटी है, ओके। ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ 50 ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ 'ਚ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ 4 ਮਹੀਨੇ 'ਚ ਹੋਣ, ਚਾਹੇ 2 ਮਹੀਨੇ 'ਚ ਹੋਣ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੇ 50 ਯੂਨਿਟ ਰਹਿ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ 200 ਯੂਨਿਟ ਦਾ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇਣਾ। ਓਕੇ, ਸੋ ਆਲ ਦ ਟਾਈਮ ਵੀ ਵਿਲ ਕੀਪ ਅ ਚੈੱਕ on the quantity that diminishes to 50, and at that time we will give a reorder for the replenishment of say another 200 units all the time. So दूसरा सिस्टम है periodic system. Periodic is a fixed time system जिस ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ at regular periods, let's say on the first of every month, we will give an order, we will place an order according to the variable quantity. ठीक है, ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡਾ ਮੈਕਸੀਮਮ ਲੈਵਲ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਉਸ ਦੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ ਜੇ ਮੰਨ ਲਓ 1 ਤਰੀਕ ਨੂੰ 500 ਹੋਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਸੀ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ 200 ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ 300 ਦਾ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ। ਨੈਕਸਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਜੇ ਉਹ 400 ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ 100 ਦਾ ਆਰਡਰ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ ਅਕੋਰਡਿੰਗਲੀ। ਨਾਓ ਲੈਟ ਅਸ ਕਮ ਟੂ the economic order quantity models. Now there are, we will discuss here 3 main models, and there is one more model that is known as price break model, in which we will take into account the quantity discounts. Now let us start with the basic EOQ model, the first one. Now in that case we will proceed with some of the assumptions that demand is known with certainty and it remains constant over time, and at this time we are not taking into account any shortages. Lead time is constant, I will come to the lead time later on. Then order quantity is received all at once and instantaneously. That is very important point here कि जिन्ना भी असी amount order करते हैं वो सारे का सारा एक बारी सानू मिल जाता। For example, let's say we have ordered 500 units, so we will receive all those 500 units only at that instant. Now let us look how. Now this is basic EOQ model. Okay. Now this is our ordering quantity, that is Q. Okay. This is Q. Now this is being declined due to consumption. Now this is the reorder level, okay, as we have seen in continuous system. So means when our inventory level will reduce to this level R. Okay. So on this side there is time. So let us say after this much time, you can say after this much time, okay, after this much time level will be R. So here we will give an order of how much, of this Q, okay, and this is the time that is known as lead time. Okay, the point from which we give an order until we receive the order. Let us say we understand that it will take 7 days for the replenishment. Okay. So accordingly we have decided this reorder level, okay, what will be the amount that we need for those 7 days. So accordingly at this level, after this much time, we will give an order so that by the time our inventory diminishes to 0, we have received an order and it has again been replenished to level Q. So this period, okay, from the day or the time we have placed an order until we receive the order, this time is known as lead time, and this is the level of quantity at which we give reorder, okay, or order for the replenishment, that is known as reorder. Okay. So this is how we receive order and then again we place order and again we receive order here, like so on. Okay. Now what does it involve? Here carrying cost per unit per year, let us say it is CC. Okay. Now average inventory here is Q by 2, Q by 2. Now how it is Q by 2? So let us look at the total inventory. Now total inventory, now this period is T for instance, okay, this period is T. So this period is T, and let us say this is Q. Now, here we have this right angle triangle. Okay. So, this area of triangle, let us say half Q into T is the total inventory, it is total inventory. Okay. Now, average inventory is total inventory per unit time, okay, per unit time. So, that is divided total inventory divided by T, total inventory divided by T. So, total inventory is half QT divided by T. So, average inventory is Q by 2, average inventory is Q by 2. Now, this is how our average inventory is Q by 2. Okay. So, like this. So, annual carrying cost is, this is carrying cost per unit. Then we have average inventory is Q by 2, Q by 2. So, multiplied by this carrying cost per unit into average inventory is our total carrying cost. Now, this is ordering cost. Now, let us say our annual demand is D, annual demand is D, for instance it is 1000 and Q is the order size. Then what are the number of orders? Then what are the number of orders? Number of orders will be D by Q. जिस तरह 1000 साड़ी डिमांड है, ठीक है, Q साड़ा ऑर्डर साइज 10 है, तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर्स कितने हो गए? 10 हो गए. 1000 divided by 100 for instance, let us say Q is 100, D is 1000, annual demand 1000 है, Q 100 है, तो टोटल नंबर ऑफ ऑर्डर्स कितने हो गए? 10. जे एक ऑर्डर की कॉस्ट C नॉट है, तो टोटल ऑर्डरिंग कॉस्ट होगी C नॉट इंटू D by Q. So, our total cost here is C naught D by Q plus CC Q by 2. Now, here we have to give a trade off between carrying cost and ordering cost. Carrying cost is increasing with the increase in inventory size, whereas ordering cost is decreasing because number of orders will decrease. Okay. So, here we have to make a trade off where this cost shall be minimum. Now, we will differentiate this total cost function with respect to Q, and we will have this thing, and finally, after differentiation you will come to this point that Q optimum is equal to under root 2 C naught D divided by CC. Here D is our annual demand, C naught is our ordering cost and CC is our carrying cost. So, this is Q optimum. Now, moving to next model. Now, next model is non-instantaneous replenishment. So, this was the basic model. Okay. Now, next is non-instantaneous replenishment. Now, what makes a difference between instantaneous and non-instantaneous replenishment? In case of instantaneous, all inventory has been received at once, but in case of non-instantaneous replenishment, it is not received at once, it is received gradually over time. Inventory is continuously being used at the same time, it is being replenished. For instance, now this will be the shape. Okay. Now you can very well understand here. Okay. So, this is the order receipt period. Now, what does it signify? It signifies, for instance, if we give total order, let us say of 100 units, then these 100 units will not be received at once on a single day. These 100 units will be received by us, let us say over a period of time, say at the rate of 20 units per day. रोज ਦੇ 20 यूनिट सानू मिल रहे हैं, तो उस हिसाब नाल the total inventory will be replenished within 5 days, and all these 5 days at the same time we are using the inventory. ਓਕੇ ਉਹ 5 ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਨਵੈਂਟਰੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਈ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ 5 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਲ ਇਨਵੈਂਟਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਯੂਜ਼ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਨਾਰਮਲੀ ਇਹ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਯੂਜ਼ਰ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਿਊਸਰ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਦੇ ਬਿਲੋਂਗ ਟੂ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਪੇਰੈਂਟ ਕੰਪਨੀ। ਫਾਰ ਇੰਸਟੈਂਸ ਇੱਕ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਦੂਸਰਾ ਯੂਨਿਟ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮ ਕਰੀ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਓਕੇ ਸੋ ਇਸ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਡੇਲੀ ਸਪਲਾਈ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਮਟੀਰੀਅਲ ਦੀ ਔਰ ਨਾਲ ਡੇਲੀ ਕੰਜ਼ੰਪਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਬਟ there is one assumption here, I am going back. Now P is the daily production rate, that is say 20 units per day, okay, daily supply rate you can say, and D is daily usage rate, say 2 units per day. ਜੇ 5 ਦਿਨ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ 5 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਜ਼ ਦੇ 20 ਯੂਨਿਟ ਆਏ, ਐਟ ਦ ਸੇਮ ਟਾਈਮ ਰੋਜ਼ ਦੇ 2 ਯੂਨਿਟ ਕੰਜ਼ਿਊਮ ਹੋ ਗਏ। ਬਟ here underlying assumption is P is greater than D. We have shown here categorically. Now basically this point is not in the middle, okay, this point, now there is some skewness you can say, okay, there is some skewness to the right. कुछ books ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ center ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ, but that is not accurate, okay, because their underlying assumption is that our production rate is greater than the demand rate. P is greater than D. Okay. So only then this issue arises, otherwise if D is equal to P for instance, then there will be no inventory. Okay, रोज ਦੇ 20 यूनिट आए और रोज ਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ 20 कंज्यूम कर ले, there will be no inventory. Then what is the issue of inventory control here? और जे D P ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ मान लो प्रोडक्शन सप्लाई हो रही है रोज ਦੀ 20 यूनिट, कंजम्पशन है रोज ਦੀ 30 यूनिट, फिर तो शॉर्टेजेस हो गई है। ओके सो इस करके ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ मॉडल है इस ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਹ अंडरलाइंग assumption है that P is the daily production rate and D is the daily usage rate and P is greater than D. Okay, so D is not greater than P, in that case there will be shortages, and if D is equal to P there will be no inventory. This model is all similar to basic EOQ model. There is only one difference here कि जिहड़ी maximum inventory है इस केस ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ it will not be Q, maximum inventory उन्नी नहीं होगी जिन्ना असी order कीता, it will be less than Q. For instance we have ordered Q, that is 100 units, okay, and P is the daily production rate, that is 20 units per day. D is the daily usage rate, you can say, that is 2 units per day. Now if I have to mention a T, that in how much time this inventory will be replenished, then this will be Q by P, that is 100 by 20, that is 5 days. In these 5 days, what will be the usage, total usage? Total usage will be 5, daily I am using 2 units, 10 units. मीन जे मैं 5 दिन ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 100 यूनिट रिसीव ਕੀਤੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ 5 ਦਿਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ 10 यूनिट कंज्यूम भी कर ले. In that sense, I would like to mention here that our maximum inventory on the 5th day will not be 100, but it will be less than 100, that is 90 units. Okay. So it will be Q. Now this is basically total consumption here is Q by P into D. Q by P time हो गया into D daily demand होगी. So this will be Q minus Q into D by P. So this will be Q, okay, 1 minus D by P. So that will be the case here, it will be the maximum inventory in that case, just like this. Okay. So this is the maximum inventory, and average inventory, as we have seen in the basic EOQ model, it was Q by 2. In that case Q was the maximum inventory. In this case it is Q into 1 minus D over P, this is the maximum inventory, this will be divided by 2. So, average inventory ਜਿਹੜੀ basic EOQ model ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ Q by 2 ਸੀ, ਇਸ model ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਗੀ Q by 2 into 1 minus D by P. Rest is all same, total carrying cost will be multiplied by this CC into average inventory